It's time for the B.S.ing with the Guys live podcast.
Ooh, does that intro scare y'all? Everybody okay?
Every time, dude. Every time, dude.
I love it. I love it. But no, we were just now talking about no lack of crazy-ass news, and, you know, I get on it today. I was busy pretty much all day, and then all it took was 10 minutes to get on, and I'm like, breaking news. I seen they talking about actually doing something to James Comey. I don't know if you saw that, Brad.
Mm-mm.
No,
No, I didn't.
That's that bullshit at FBI director that before this one,
Yes.
You know, and he was just a piece of shit, man. He was the one that was refusing to. He was basically saying that Hillary Clinton broke every single law in the book, but because she didn't know any better, they weren't going to file any charges against her, you know,
right.
and shit like that.
Right. Why would
so
you, dude?
He was a crooked one, but they said he's expected to be indicted within days, and this is from MSNBC and all, you know.
Oh shit.
So I don't know exactly what the indictment's going to be, but I mean, supposedly it's about to go down with him, which is a good sign because normally, you know, you don't see any of their feet being held to the fire on that side.
No,
Right.
it would all be swept under the rug and, you know, keep the American people hanging, you know.
Yeah. And
What about this Cash Patel? Everything I see online is people don't like him.
yeah,
I don't know much about him.
I think we all had high hopes when he got in there. You know, once Trump got elected, and he would say, "This is my guy." You know, you start doing a little research on him. He seemed like he was very much law and order. He talked a big game as far as what he was going to do when he got in there. And I think what's got everybody, you know, sour when it comes to him is the Epstein shit. Because, you know, he's the leader of, you know, he's controlling the FBI. I don't know if you know who he is, Kristen, but yeah, he's the new head of the FBI. And like I said, talked a big game. First thing they were going to do was release all this Epstein stuff. They were going to start holding people accountable. They were going to get to the bottom of it. And we don't know any more than we knew before they were in office. And that's why a lot of people kind of take him as a joke now.
That
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't know if, you know, he went in there with great intentions and then the system kind of swallows you up to where things don't really, you know, happen like you think they're going to happen once you get in there. Or if he's just another one that's part of the fucking system. I don't know. I don't know how to judge it yet.
Like, maybe, I mean, I don't know about him specifically, but I feel like everybody in the government is just like, has bad intentions. And I mean, just the odds are that not every single one went in like, I'm ready to fuck America up.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree with you 100%, man, on that. It's like these people have great intentions going in. We're going to do this. We're going to change that. We're going to change this. Man, dude, if you just don't conform to that political movement or political ideology, you'll never get anything out of them, you know,
Right.
when you get into those type of positions, you know.
Yeah, it's almost like you're handed a playbook when you finally get in. And they're like, look, I know
That's a
you.
good analogy.
Yeah, it's like, look, I know
absolutely
you
is.
thought
Right.
you knew how things work, but here's how things work. And if you don't go along with that playbook, you're not there long. You know what I mean? Your career is short. And it's just amazing to watch the people that conform to that, were the ones that you thought would never do that, like Bongino. You know what I mean? He was a big one that the whole time. I mean, former Secret Service, you know, it's got a hell of a career, and he seemed like just an upstanding guy. And then he got in there, and he's basically doing the same thing Cash Patel was doing, which is nothing after promising big things. You know what I mean?
Well, Dirty Money says it's only been 7 months, guys. So
I agree.
Dirty money. Come on, man. You're right, Brad. Don't sit there. Don't encourage that.
But I do. I just, we've talked about it off air, Shane, you and I, dude. And it's like, you know, anything in the feds, they move slow, man. I've had family members in the military, and it's like rush to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just a different animal, dude. And I think it's.
Well, let me ask you this then. Do you think we've heard all we're going to hear about Epstein, or do you still have faith that the current administration is going to put out any more news than they already have?
I don't know, man. You might bring me down a road I really don't want to go down, but with
well, I guess what I was getting at was, do you think that was a total bullshit lie by Kash Patel and friends that what they were going to do with that Epstein, file once they got in office? Or do you think there's more to it than that? Like, they've got a grander plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if they have a grander plan. I think they had all expectations of releasing that, and it got stopped.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I don't know that they were lying in the beginning, like before
Absolutely
they got in
not.
there,
Right.
but I feel like they're lying now as to why it's not
Absolutely.
been released.
Yeah.
It's that deep.
So they got the playbook then. As soon as they got in office, Kash Patel was handed his playbook. Basically, like this is how things are going to work.
Pam Bondi
too. Yeah, another one.
Kash Patel. Yeah. Maybe Trump. Who knows?
And
yeah.
I hope, like Dirty Money, I hope he's right where it's been 7 months, so I hope some shit does start rolling. And
it takes time, man. I do believe that it takes time. And
I hope that they're genuinely in there concerned about it and working on getting it released.
Yes.
And kind of jumping the hurdles, whatever they may be, to get them released like they said they would. And I hope that they can prove that they're not just like the rest of them by the end of this administration's turn.
Yeah. Well, Dirty Money's asking that the files have been released. No question mark. Basically, they've never released the names of the people that were doing all the wrongdoing, and that's what they promised us, that they were going to sit there and start holding people accountable for this child trafficking or whatever else was going on that island. They already put Ghislaine in prison for it. They had Epstein in prison, so somebody did something wrong. So they had victims, in other words, and it wasn't just Epstein that was doing whatever was going on. So there were other people involved in it. So who are these people? And that's what they were supposed to do. And so, Kristen, to answer the question you asked in the very beginning, that's why people kind of take Kash Patel as a joke now. Not everybody, but a lot of people are, because I did see when he came out on his X account about this Charlie Kirk's shooter, saying that basically the FBI, they're going to use everything they have to their disposal to get to the bottom of this. And people are like, oh, here we go. So in other words, we'll never know anything real about what went on with the Charlie Kirk shooting if the FBI is involved. So that they've lost a lot of credibility because of the Epstein fumble.
I believe that 100%. They really have, Shane.
And it may not be justified, like you said. Maybe there's more to it than we all know as the average citizen. But the second guessing the federal government is justified also by citizens, because they have pulled shady shit, for decades now. So. I mean, you really can't trust them at all. And that's kind of what, we were going to get into a lot with tonight's episode, is just, the bullshit going on with this Charlie Kirk shooting and, the not trusting what you're being told by the higher ups. And we see a lot of it, I don't know, man, a lot of shit's not adding up with it. And I tried to stay away from that. I was purposely avoiding content. Whenever I'd see anything about the Charlie Kirk thing, I would scroll past it. Like, nope, y'all not getting me caught up in this shit. And then you start seeing it, and it's like, damn, like, wait a second, no, this don't make a lot of sense. I mean, the ballistics part of it don't make any sense. I mean, they still have the explanation they give for no exit wound is because his bones were so dense. Like, I don't give a fuck what how dense you think your bones are. 30-06, if that's what he was shot with, your bone's not stopping that. Your neck bone, it's just not. There's going to be an exit wound.
I think it hit his shoulder blade.
You think? You talking about before or after? Like before the neck or after?
I feel like it came in the neck and on a downward angle and hit the inside of his shoulder blade.
Yeah, but goddamn, you think that would still stop if it was a 30-06 round?
I would think so. I mean, you think when they're shooting ballistics gel with 30-06, I watched a few, videos on just people shooting ballistics gel, and 30-06 going through 14 or so inches of ballistics gel, right? Just the gel. So you add a bone in the mix of that, and I'm sure we could get a calculation somewhere, but I would assume you've got 14 inches coming in here and then down wherever the bullet goes through your back or close to it,
right.
Enough close enough to it where a bone being in the way would make that difference between coming out and not.
Yeah,
I've also never been shot with a 30-06, so I don't.
we should try it.
It's hypothetical, right? Exactly.
We should try it. Let's do one. Take one for the team, dude. No, yeah. Look, and I guess I don't want to say anything's possible because not anything's possible. I mean, a bullet's going to do what a bullet does, but I guess what you're saying could, be what's going on. But I just know, Brad, you're a hunter. What do you shoot? What round do you normally shoot when you're deer hunting?
7mm.
7?
Yeah, 7mm. But
Well,
look, the average hunting bullet probably either 270, 30-06 is
Right.
probably your most common. that they
Right, and
shoot.
just speaking with, I mean, we both know a lot of hunters. I mean, in our circle. Well, everybody I know that shoots a 30-aught that's ever hit anything says it's always been an exit wound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just always, you're shooting a deer, it's going in one side, it's coming out the other. And I'm not saying every time everybody in the world does it, but everybody I've talked to that's hunts with them, has said that they've never downed any animal and the bullet's been inside of it. So to say that Charlie Kirk's neck or even just in like the shoulder area, it just seems kind of, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, that video I saw with Charlie Kirk, and it's like I haven't watched it since I originally saw it and sent it. It's just, to me, it goes in. Now, did it hit because I always heard he wore a bulletproof vest under his shirts.
Well, his team said that he wasn't wearing one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his team come out and said that he had nothing on under his shirt.
But if you look at the video I saw, when it exited, I mean, it was just this massive pool of blood that flew out. So to me, that would be the exit wound,
What is the conspiracy with this?
Well,
why does this matter?
Well, because there's a lot going on. For one, people are starting to question if this kid was even the shooter.
Exactly.
The gun had a lot to do with it. He supposedly brought the gun up on the roof. Okay, brought this rifle up there. Now that's fine. Okay, he got it up there. Now, when they showed a video of him jumping off of this roof, there's no rifle in his hand. So what they're trying to tell you is he took this rifle apart, stuffed it in his bag, jumped off of that roof, and while running, put the rifle back together and threw it in the woods. Does it make any sense to do that? Because they found the rifle intact in the woods, wrapped in a towel.
Yeah, it was fully put together.
Right. But when he got off of that roof, he didn't have a rifle intact in his hand. So, I mean, and if you've seen a video, which I watched, of a guy taking that rifle apart, it's not like these new rifles like an AR where just a couple of buttons you got the thing apart.
Right.
I mean, you've got to have tools. So this is all while you're running, from the scene.
Right.
You supposedly dismantle this in a split second before you get off that roof, stuff it in your bag, and then you decide, while I'm running, I'm going to put it back together. So that's where all the kind of like, what the fuck is really going on comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of people are wondering if it was even a 30-aught that got Charlie, if it was a smaller round, and if so, where did it come from? Because the gun that they claim and did it isn't a small caliber rifle. It is a large caliber. So, if that's the gun that he got shot with, then it's just odd that, it didn't do more. Not that it didn't do enough damage. I mean, the guy lost his life, but, supposedly there's only one hole. I don't know how else to say it without being graphic, but only one hole in Charlie Kirk, and that was the one that you saw the blood coming out of. And that's supposedly, that's what, his people were saying, that helped him into the car, to the SUV, to bring him to the hospital, that they were holding, they were compressed on the one wound that they saw. So I don't know. Shit just gets crazy, man. And I mean, we go back to the, to the text messages that were odd as fuck. I mean, just laying out everything. And it was like he was so hell-bent on explaining this rifle to his lover or whoever the hell he was talking to, and like over and over about where he got this rifle and the rifle and the rifle and the rifle. Like they wanted to put into your head, let you know that was the gun that did it. There's no question about it. That's the gun. And it was kind of like that's how that text message shit came off to me. But so I don't know.
Even like JFK, man.
No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Justin.
So right before JFK, do we believe that there is one hole in his body?
Yeah.
And if
That's
we
what they
do,
want you to
what
believe.
round do we believe was big enough that at a closer range than 150-ish yards where the top of that building was, would leave that size entry hole and no exit wound?
Well, how big? I mean, how do we know how big the entry hole was? All we see is blood.
You can see it on the video.
Yeah, but is it the hole or is that just blood you're seeing? You know
Well,
what I mean?
when if you watch the slow-mo videos, you can see it. It's a
It
hole.
makes a hole.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
it's
I
a
don't know.
hole.
I would say I don't know what a 22. Well, actually you do. I mean, you shoot a squirrel with a 22, you barely see the hole.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I'm with. Look, it may be that big of a round, maybe in a 30-aught. It just the no exit really gets me, man. It really kind of makes me wonder, like, what the fuck, like how? I mean, the doctor explained it was a miracle. His bone density, it saved people's lives.
I don't
From
believe
that
it.
bullet going through.
I don't believe it.
It's hard to look. It's hard to buy.
I don't know. The video I saw a shit ton of blood gushing out of this dude's neck
yeah.
on the opposite side, and anyway.
Yeah. No, I know, and I, the whole rifle breakdown and put back together shit's really got me thrown the fuck
Yeah,
off.
that's the
Yes.
part that gets me. I'm not really so concerned about how the shooting
bullet.
went
Right.
down or
Right.
questioning that part, but
But did he shoot?
I think he did.
Was he the killer?
I think he did.
Yeah, and he may have. Because I was thinking too, like, if there's more people behind this than just him, if we go with these conspiracies, like,
Yep.
what would you have to do to convince this kid to take the fall for it? Because he's all but said, I did it, according to his family. He admitted to it.
Right.
So if he didn't pull the trigger, why the fuck would he say he did? You know what I mean? I know people have given false confessions before, but he wasn't being pressed by detectives.
No.
He fucking, they brought him to the police because he said, I did it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's a whole nother conspiracy right there. You would think, dude, if that's the killer, right? The FBI would just say, well, look, when you're ready to bring him in to the police station, and then we'll interrogate him. You think that the FBI would be surrounding the house and, we're going to take this guy where he's at, I don't know. It's all weird. It really is, dude.
Yeah. And then it's like, if he pulled the trigger and there were, powerful people behind him, I wouldn't want to say making him do it, but talking him into it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I would think when they start talking the death penalty, I would probably start squealing. And apparently he hasn't said anything. I mean, he hasn't, at least publicly. I mean, his lawyer hasn't said anything.
Has he or hasn't he said anything?
Yeah, I haven't heard. That's what I mean. Yeah, they haven't disclosed anything, and it seems far-fetched to say that he didn't do it, because, like I said, I mean, how do you convince a 22-year-old to sit there and say, "Look, why don't you go ahead and say you did this? We're gonna go after the death penalty, but we need you to say you did this." Like, what?
Right.
They couldn't offer you enough money. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, but like, where the hell did this rifle come from? Meaning when the FBI found it. Like, where the hell did it come from? How did he get off of that roof without that rifle in one piece, and then it's put back together when they take this nice picture of it? And then, of course, the serial numbers are there is no such thing on those guns because it's so old. Just conveniently, it can't be traced. It's all nuts, man. And like I said earlier, I was trying to stay away from all this, and it sucked me in this week, dude. I'm like, good God, because you start reading shit and watching videos, and it's like, that makes sense, and that makes sense, and it's like, damn, what about this, And I don't know, man. It's all nuts. I mean, Justin, you think it's just cut and dry? Just the boy, that's it. He did it. There's nobody else behind it.
I think it's a lot more cut and dry than a lot of the conspiracy theories. Now, whether somebody else was quote unquote behind it can kind of be disputed, as far as, like, so you hear like the Israel theories, and so let's just go out on a limb and say Israel was behind it, right? I feel like some outside source found this younger kid that was having issues already with his identity and
Right.
kind of who he was and what he believed in.
And hated
And
Charlie
now he's
Kirk.
got a
Right,
trans
exactly.
boyfriend. And then they're like, okay, well, this is a weak-minded individual. You know,
Yes.
he's in a spot in his life where he doesn't really have a clue what his future looks like, and you know, so on and so forth. And then they start getting in his head. You know,
Right.
that's
Right.
what I kind of feel happened with the groups that he was in and shit like
And
that.
and that's exactly where my brain was, and that's
Yep.
where I was gonna leave it until I started reading. That's what I
Isn't that
mean.
the
I was
truth?
trying to stay away from all this nonsense. I'm like, no, it's simple. This dude was radicalized, and you know, he was another one that the left convinced was doing a great thing, and shot Charlie Kirk, and that's the end of it. But man, the more you start reading, the more it don't seem like the end of it. I mean, I
Right.
was listening to the 911 dispatcher. Well, here, I'll let y'all listen to it. Here, let me pull it up. It is right here. I'll check it out.
Is going to be wearing all black, black long gun, black tactical helmet, a black mask, possibly wearing a tactical vest and jeans.
So, you know, she's saying that a tactical helmet, like nothing that this kid was wearing,
No.
is who they're
No.
supposedly looking for. So where does that come from? Now, could be chalked up, I guess, to just early information coming in and people just, you know, I think I seen a guy running with, you know, with a, you know, or was it the picture of our thumbnail? They're supposedly they got a close up of somebody dressed like that.
Yeah,
off
because he
in
had
the
a black
distance.
hat on, right?
Well, he did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, but that's what I mean. So it could be, you know, just eyewitnesses, you know, giving wrong shit because they see somebody running, and you know how shit goes like that. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's like back when years ago when people were getting sniped in D.C. with the D.C. snipers. It was two guys hanging out in a car shooting people out of the trunk. Well, they were looking for a white van for the longest time,
Right.
because that's what witnesses had said. So I get it, you know, but it just adds fuel to the fire, you know, when you hear a 911 dispatcher giving a description of the, you know, shit that the person wasn't even wearing. So of course it's going to have people saying, what the hell was really going on?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it I also don't think it helps as far as early information that you've got 3,000 people that just watched an assassination trying to figure out what the fuck's going on and relay that information at the same time without
True.
knowing really what's going
Very
on,
true.
you know?
Yeah. No, that's true. They, I don't know, man. I seen, you know, Candace Owens, she's still like hardcore on this shit. Like, you know, just
Yeah,
making,
she hadn't let up, dude.
oh no, and making
No, she
tons
isn't.
of claims that I wish could be verified, because she keeps saying that she spoke to people and watched videos that, you know, other people haven't seen, but there's no proof of that. I mean, we can get on here and say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's about all I'm getting out of Candace right now. And, you know, I never took her as a liar, but
Me
she
neither.
sure does seem to have a bunch of information that nobody else has for some reason. And I mean, it's fucking Candace Owens. It's not like it's, you know, Tucker Carlson or even Alex Jones that, you know, just that people are used to giving up, you know, sources are used to going to. I mean, we're talking about Candace Owens. Not that she doesn't have a big platform, but, well, how does she get all this information and nobody else does? So it makes me kind of question what she's doing now.
Yeah.
But
I haven't
don't
heard
know.
much of really what she's said.
Well-
I mean, I've seen her name popping up and popping up and popping up, but I haven't seen the gist of
Yeah,
like
well-
what
well,
her theory is.
The newest one is she's claiming that she spoke with the man who recorded the alleged footage of Tyler Robinson on the roof before the shooting. Now, she's saying that this guy that she spoke to, the one that recorded it, that his testimony is completely contradictory to what the FBI is saying. His footage is, you know, it was recorded for about 20 seconds before Charlie was assassinated. And he is saying that he saw the shooter holding a smaller firearm and believes Charlie was shot with a lightweight bullet. Also, you know, he provided a description to law enforcement that was never released to the public. And that was the one with that you just heard, the 911 call. So according to him, that's what he saw. And he's saying that you know, a smaller firearm, which you know, some people look at it like, why does it matter? I mean, he got shot, he died, so it doesn't matter what size gun. But if they're lying about it, then it does matter, because then it's like,
Absolutely.
why are you lying about this? You know?
Yeah,
So
what's the cover up, dude?
right,
Yeah, absolutely.
and so that's the kind of things Candace Owens is saying. You know, when I was, you know, mentioning that she's claiming she's speaking to people and, you know, watching. She says she saw the video footage of the camera that was behind Charlie Kirk, and that's
Yeah, where's
where
that at?
right, they haven't released it, and you know, maybe his team decided not to for whatever reason. But she claims she saw it, and that's where she started with the, you know, there's no exit wound. Like the bullet never came out for such a high caliber bullet is kind of where all this started from.
Right.
And it look, it makes sense. I mean,
So-
but so
That dude was roughly 500 feet away from
Right.
the campus building when he was filming that video. So he's about 170 yards ish away.
which is a ways.
Yeah.
You know, so I just don't know how much you can see with your plain eye at 170 yards, you know.
Sure, especially to say a smaller caliber gun. Like you can't pick out the caliber of a rifle. I mean, a rifle's a rifle from 100 and some odd yards away.
170
Let's
yards, like-
face it. Yeah, you'd have to have fucking binoculars to say, oh no, that barrel wasn't, you know, the hole wasn't big enough for a 30-06 to come out of. So yeah, I don't understand that. You know, I don't know. That is a weird kind of. It's one thing to say, no, I saw him with a handgun, but he's saying it was a smaller caliber rifle, basically. And I'm like, how do you know that? Like,
How do you know that? Right. Like, I mean, I believe he genuinely thought that dude had, you know, some sort of military vest or helmet or whatever, because you see the video and he's just a dude in all black,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
True.
And at 170 yards, I mean, you just see some all black figure. Like, you can't even see skin at that distance, you know,
Sure.
with your bare eye. You can see the figure, but you can't make details out. There's not even close to it, you know? So, but to claim you could tell the caliber of the rifle or, you know, any gun
No.
that was up there at 170 yards is nuts.
yeah. Well, you know, you're not very fun for the conspiracy crowd, Justin.
No.
Yeah, you're trying to make sense of this, and it's just, no, like I said, really the only thing that got me sucked in was I watched the video of this supposedly the shooter jumping off of this roof, and
Yep.
there is no rifle in his hand. I don't care
There's
what
not.
anybody. There's no fucking rifle. So where did the rifle come from? Now the original video they show him walking, supposedly him, allegedly him, walking with a limp. And they can only attribute that to him having this rifle down his pants.
Mhm.
Okay, that's fine. But he damn sure wasn't running with a limp. You know what I mean? So where the fuck was this rifle between the time he jumped off of that, you know, roof to the time that the FBI supposedly found it in the woods? That's what's got like
That's
me
the part that I
drawn
don't
in,
like either.
You know?
You know,
But then it's
Um,
like, I mean, how deep would it go? Like, I can't see our government doing that. You know what I mean? Like, what would this administration and all have against Charlie Kirk? I mean, if
Not
it's
this
as
administration.
that's
it's
what I was going to
deeper than
say.
that.
If
Yeah.
it's as simple as that,
It's
you
not
know.
as simple as that. No, I think it's
Yeah.
deeper than that for sure.
Israel.
that's well, that's been the big one.
Well, it is.
That's been the
You
big
hit
one
it
for
right
sure.
on yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. For sure.
But I don't know, like, I don't know why. I mean, and I will say that, you know, Netanyahu has come out a half a dozen times, having to tell everybody that they had nothing to do with this. And as a world leader, like, why would you feel you need to come out and keep saying that? If you even address it, you say it once, you tell people stop. You know, we had
Right.
It's
It's
nothing
over
to do with
with.
this shit.
Yes.
It's stupid.
No.
Move on.
Yes.
But instead, you got to keep putting out statements. So it does seem
Absolutely.
odd. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go down that, you know, that hole and you know,
Yep.
start just
Believe
definitely.
the opposite, people. That's what I
Yeah,
can tell.
yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
That's crazy.
And look, when you
But-
look at Charlie Kirk, I mean, they were saying what 2 months before all this went down that he was approached by what's the guy's name? Bill Ackman, which is a billionaire Jew.
Yeah.
And he was offered $150 million, man, to be a little more polite towards the Jewish community, you know. And he declined it.
He turned it
and
down. Yeah.
He turned it down, and he was actually Bibi Netanyahu actually requested that he comes to Israel,
Right.
and he declined it.
Do you have this guy's number?
I know, for $200, I'll be nicer.
Yeah, I can say nice things. You can send me a few dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
What it looks like more violence. I guess pushed, by the left. I guess you could say. But this shooting today in Dallas, man, at the ICE, now I don't want to say headquarters, but the ICE facility. What the hell was going on with that? I haven't seen, I hadn't been able to really dig much into it. I just, supposedly they were shit engraved on these bullets too, or
it was like Sharpied on
drawn
there.
on them. Yeah. So it's like, and from what I understand, though, this person didn't hit any of the agents.
No.
They only hit the detainees.
Oh, so
I think he was just randomly firing into fucking whatever the hell he was shooting into, and I mean, but.
So you have to protesting ICE by shooting the immigrants?
And I don't think that was the plan.
No.
But that's how it ended up. And I'm like, but it's another one that was radicalized. I mean, they start, of course, they dig into this person's history quick. And it's another one of these left-leaning just nuts, man. A young kid, too. Another one, early 20s.
Really?
Just decided that the best option in life, after listening to all this bullshit and this rhetoric that goes on with politics, is to load up a gun and go firing off rounds at people. It's crazy, people getting pushed that far, and these young people too. I mean, of course, this one took his own life. So he's like, he died for this, was willing to die for this. You get so wrapped up in it that it's crazy, man, and it seems to be so one-sided right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely right now, for sure.
It's crazy, man. And it's the same side that sits there and will tell you how violent the right is.
Yes.
And, white supremacy being the biggest threat to the country right now.
Right.
And
to democracy.
It's nuts, man. And I don't know. I don't know what they got to do to change it. I think they just need to tone the bullshit down a little bit, because apparently it's driving people insane, or at least pushing these insane people over the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be a little crazy, I guess, to think that this is how you handle a situation and people that you don't agree with. But had the tone not been what it is right now in the country when it comes to these politics, maybe these people wouldn't have gone that far.
Right. So if it would just stop at, hey, y'all are stupid. Then it's like, okay,
it's
whatever.
but
and nobody has to die.
No, and you see them come out, these politicians that come out after the fact saying, look, violence is never the answer. But then the next day, they're telling you again how evil the other side is and how much of a threat they are to democracy and your way of life. And, they hate gays and they hate trans and they hate this and they're bad people. They're Nazis. And then when one of us dies, somebody on the right gets shot, they're like, oh, we don't condone violence. That's not the answer. And then they're right back at it.
I know, and they're all like, we never called the right Nazis. And then there's just a fucking 10-minute compilation of them calling the right Nazis.
Yeah, that's their favorite word, was right after, fascist. But yeah, I think, like I said, a lot of it's just driven by that side right now, and they need to get a grip on that shit, man, because this stuff is turning ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
But how do they, man?
Stop with the bullshit. Stop with the nonsense. Stop with the
Jimmy Kimmels.
Yeah, painting everybody that you don't agree with as evil. Not just that, look, their policies aren't good because, and then tell why. It's that, fuck their policies. These people are evil. They're evil. I mean, and when you do that over and over and over, you get crazy people out there that believe, well, I can stop this evil.
Do you think it's gone too far to back off of it?
No, I don't. I think if they would just calm down with the hyperbole and the rhetoric. Yes, I do. I believe they could tone it down and it would eventually subside. I just don't think they want it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're out there wishing people would, get shot every day, but they don't want, unity. They don't want unity. No. It doesn't serve them for us to
either their way or no way.
Right. And the last thing they need is the right and the left not bickering. That doesn't, it doesn't serve them at all. So I just think that they run out of things to complain about when it comes to the right, because a lot of the policies that Trump is putting in and trying to help the economy, they don't have an argument against them. So it's
Right.
easy just to sit there and say, well, he's just evil. He's racist. He's a bigot. They're Nazis. I mean, it's like, that's not a political argument. That's
Right.
just fucking name calling.
It's just name calling.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a discussion to say why I think your policy's bad and why mine is good. So then you start, pumping up these idiots out there to think that this is the way you handle it. I mean, like Charlie Kirk, who is he hurting when he was out there talking? You know what I mean?
Nobody.
Like
I
to
agree.
justify.
I mean, unless you ask the left.
Well,
then he
right,
was
but
out
to
there spreading
justify-
hate and trying
it-
to get people to attack gays,
Sure. Now, and it would be different if somebody like Charlie Kirk was out there and that's the type of shit he was preaching. Like, hey, every time you see a gay person, make sure you assault them and shit like that, But it was the furthest from what he was out there doing. So to get somebody bucked up to shoot someone like him, it's just from nonstop, just every day, evil, 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 evil. And then boom. There you go. Some dumbass snaps. Well, supposedly some dumbass snaps, and that's what you get. And just like this shit today in Dallas. I mean, the same situation. I mean, Ileana Omar is out there, constantly calling for ICE to be abolished and talking about how evil they are, and so therefore it's another group that's getting painted as subhuman.
Yep.
So these people start having no remorse and no feelings towards these certain groups because they're not people, they're evil, and this is what you get again. Now, this dumbass wasn't even good enough to shoot the right people, so I don't know. I guess he was just firing indiscriminately into a van. The last I heard, he was shooting into a van or something. But
was he on top of the ICE building?
I think so. Yeah.
Are they not like secure?
I really don't know. Wasn't able to dig into it a lot. I just seen the news
Evidently
come across.
not, huh?
Yeah, evidently not too much, but
yeah, the shooter had anti-ice messages carved into his shell casings. So it was a copycat type thing. A 29-year-old did it. He had leftist views, and of course, I'm sure, Antifa was his,
main
heroes.
supporter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
I even look at it today, man, and since the realm of Charlie Kirk being assassinated, I sit back and I look at things, and it's like, is it really right versus left anymore, or is it more good versus evil?
yeah, I think
If you take a biblical standpoint on it, it's like, I think that we're living in these times where they have projected this, of course, the left versus right. They projected this, and here's what it's spewed to. Now it's really, light versus dark. And that's what we're up against. And God, I hope it don't get any worse, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't have good feelings, dude, of what's to come, I really don't.
Yeah, well, and I definitely don't think it's being helped by the media and the politicians.
it's
what
not.
I mean,
Not
you're
at all,
always
dude.
going to have
Yeah.
good. You're always going to have evil. I just think
Yes.
it gets ramped up
Yes.
by the nonsense that people are listening to every day. Whatever news station you're watching, and just being on social media constantly, where everybody's bickering and arguing, and you know what I mean. It gets people in a certain mind frame, and when you've got people that are just right at the edge, ready to go over it, and then that's all they do is live in these fucking threads and these forums, and then they get
Reddit. Yeah.
right. And what's the one that your boy was on, Justin, that shot Charlie Kirk, that
Reddit?
Discord or whatever?
on Discord,
Yeah.
Oh, Discord,
They,
yeah.
they get in them things like that, and they're just they find these little groups that are thinking like them and talking like them, and all it takes is one out of the 30 people that are in this group to
he's
just be
one to act.
right on the
Right.
yeah, exactly. And it's all I
right
think
back.
it starts with the politicians and the media.
It does, dude. And politics are so just God, man. Like I was thinking about it. I think Sunday, because I just spent all day watching fantasy football, watching the games, just
Right.
kicking. And then all the games ended, and I laid down and hit Facebook, and it's just politics. And I'm like,
Yeah, it didn't take
man.
long, did it?
dude, it's just such a downing fucking topic in general, just everything with politics is so fucking negative that it's like I said, just had a great Sunday, and as soon as you hop on Facebook, it's just like, all right, well, fuck,
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah, you can't escape it. I mean, you can't escape it, and it used to not be like that. So now you've got young, moldable minds that are, being sucked in by this. And
Yeah.
there is no getting away from it because, for one, if you check out one political thing nowadays, the algorithm is like, oh, here you go, bitch.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean?
yes.
Oh, you want politics? Here you go. And it's just throwing it at you. So now that's it. Now that's all you're seeing on your feed.
Yep.
So there is no escaping it anymore. And like I
Yeah.
said, it used to not be like that back, when I was 20 years old. The last thing I gave two fucks about was a politic. I didn't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just never thought about it. It was just,
So much simpler before you did,
yeah. No, it
And
was.
like I said, I don't even know the feelings that politics induces. I just know it's just like down in general, It's just like,
Well,
all right, yeah, fuck yeah, the day's good, and then boom, political post, and it's like,
I was going to say it is because you're right. It's a downer because it's never positive news for the most part because, like I said, that's the last thing they want, man. Negativity is what sells. It's what gets your attention. So, you have to go overboard with it in order to get your side to pay attention to what's going
Right.
on. Because let's say the left just kind of chilled out, left everything alone, and just kind of let the administration do what it's doing. They never bitched about it. They didn't complain. They just kind of said, look, let's work together. Well, people are going to stop paying attention to them. You know what I mean? It's like any news, I guess. If it's just all puppies, rainbows, and sunshine, nobody'd be watching that shit.
yeah.
But as
And
soon
I
as
mean,
you-
I don't think there is good news in politics, dude, because even if there is,
Never.
like, you'll see something and it's like, oh, damn, that's great. Well, then there's 75 explanations
Of why
it's not fucking great. And then
I
it's
know.
like, okay, well, I
I
give
know.
the fuck up.
That's
Like,
true,
I
too.
mean,
That's true. They could tell you, how much the economy's booming and fuel is down to 75 cents a gallon. And there's always going to be a group of people that are like, yeah, but, so you're right. And it's both
Exactly.
sides.
Yep.
I mean, it's not just picking on one side. That's politics. That you're right. It's no matter what you think you read and say, oh, that's cool. Get in the comments and you'll find out why it's not cool according to, 100 other people.
instantly.
Yeah. So there is no joy in this shit at all. It's crazy.
Dude,
which
that
is-
really isn't, huh?
No.
The more you deep dive into it, man, and if it's rabbit holes or just listen to every day, if it's Fox or CNN, because I kind of follow a little bit of everything. If it's MSNBC, dude, it's all shit. It's dude, it'll drive you absolutely
terrible.
nuts.
No, it is.
Terrible. And I don't realize how mood changing it is until football season comes around and I spend the whole fucking day and completely forget politics exist. And then
Right.
it's back to normal life,
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
Monday morning or Sunday night. And I'm like, this shit fucking sucks, dude.
It
Well,
does.
and jumping into the comments for a minute, we got Odin. I respect what he's saying. He's basically taking a shot at me saying, I never thought about that. The left should just let Donald Trump throw away the Constitution. Well, the funny thing is, that's the same thing the right says the left does. So it's like it doesn't matter. I mean, you know that. They're always talking about how the
absolutely.
liberals are trampling on the Constitution. To them, it's just a piece of paper. So it's like it's the same argument on both sides. It never ends. One's
is.
always destroying the Constitution, and one's always destroying the economy. It's never ending.
But I
That's
would put it
Once
out there
ends,
that
it's like,
if
you're
the
a
left could,
pedophile. No, you're a pedophile.
Yeah,
Right.
both sides are
if the-
pedos.
if the left could do away with the Constitution, they would do it in a heartbeat. You
But see,
could
that's
just
the
see-
same thing they
It
say
is,
Trump
it
would do.
is, but it's exactly. But yeah, I mean, dude, he's just a commenter, dude. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah.
No, but I just mean that's
know what
what
I mean.
that's what you hear. Like both sides claim the other side don't respect the Constitution, and I'm with you. The left were the first ones to start coming after you when it came to freedom of speech, which is part of the damn Constitution. Now they're blasting the right for doing the same thing now because of the shit with Jimmy Kimmel and stuff like that. So that's why it's like it never ends. It never ends.
Well,
Both
that's
sides
a whole
gonna-
nother subject anyway with Kimball. Because was he drawing 1 million people, dude? Maybe
maybe
a million people. And how much were they paying this guy? And what was the network losing every year, just like Stephen Colbert,
Yeah.
Well, he's
Colbert,
back, right?
Yeah,
Who's that?
Kimmel. Yeah, they put Kimmel
Kimmel?
back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a little tearful, apology last night on his show. saying that what basically what he said is not what he meant. And I'm thinking, well, you said
course
it.
not.
I mean,
Yeah, right.
you said it now.
Right.
Should he have been canceled? Look, that's a slippery slope that you're going down because, you start canceling people like that for what they say. And then it turns around and eventually it happens to your side and you don't like it. I don't think what
course.
he said.
That's every day, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think what he said warranted being, canceled over it.
Canceled?
But to say that's not what you meant, well, you sure as fuck said it just like
Yeah.
you meant it. You blame that shit on MAGA, MAGA supporters, but after they had done said who it was, because he did this shit on a Monday. By Sunday, they already knew this motherfucker's background. But he
Right.
still got on there and put out that bullshit information, trying to make a joke about it. And it just was the wrong time to be making jokes. And he almost suffered the consequences. I mean, he's back on there now. And from what I understand, there's a lot of the smaller stations that are refusing to play it.
Yeah, I
guess
know a local New Orleans station won't play it.
Yeah. A lot of the ABC affiliates are like, we're not playing that shit. And I mean, that's, more power to them if they feel like that their audience.
It's their choice.
Yeah, right. I mean, because look,
Absolutely.
in the end, it's about what your audience wants, and
Right.
your customer base, and if that's
Right.
if they don't want that shit on there, then it don't get played, But
Exactly.
getting rid of his entire show, it was probably a little harsh, But
No, not at all, dude. No, get rid of that fucker, dude.
I
well,
agree
right,
with,
but until, like I said, until it's somebody that you enjoy and they do that too, and you're
Well,
like,
they
wait
would
a
do that
second.
in a heartbeat anyway, dude.
Of course
so
they
it's
would.
almost expected, It's
Oh
like,
yeah, I
okay,
have no
yeah.
sympathy for the fucker.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
yeah.
that it's a back and forth game that when it happens to the
Right.
other side, we're like, fuck yeah. When it
Yeah,
happens to us, we're like, what the fuck, these
What
communists?
the fuck are you? Right,
exactly.
But it's almost expected that they're going to do that to us. I mean, look at the control they had on social media, bro. And you and I talked about that, I think, yesterday, dude. The control that the left had on social media until what? Elon bought
Right.
Twitter,
Yeah.
And after that, I mean, X, you and I have talked. I consider it the Wild Wild West, man. I think it's
Yeah.
the best thing ever, man. Let everybody voice your opinions and hash it out,
That's it.
But when you get to the control part of it, that's not us. That's not our country. That's not how we're founded. It's not how we're built, man. You can't suppress other people's fucking freedom of speech because you don't like it. I don't like what the
Yeah.
left says when it comes to if it's abortion or if it's with, transgender and kids and this. And I don't like all that, dude. But guess what? I have to listen to it because that's their right to fucking
Yeah, you
spew
gotta
it
let
all over the airwaves.
gotta let them say it, man. Just like
do. Yeah,
I seen
absolutely.
YouTube, got to give them props. They came out
Mm-hmm.
and admitted basically that they were censoring, conservative voices when it came
Right.
to, I guess the pandemic, COVID, and all that shit, and they, I guess they were still wrong for doing it, but now they're kind of turning it around, saying, look, we need conservative voices on our platform,
Sure.
and we want everybody to be part of it. Now, I think the only reason they're doing that is because there's competition out there, with just what you mentioned about Elon buying X.
Yep.
But they did it. I think they're reinstating a lot of people's channels if they were, canceled over that, over comments with the COVID and shit like that. But
Right.
so, I mean, it's like, hey, it's a move in the right direction, I guess, I mean,
Sure.
but I do, I don't think it's from a genuine place.
It's
I mean,
probably
it's
not.
not to knock the platform that we're on, but I don't believe it's because they've had a
Right.
change of heart. I think it's
No.
a business move,
Yes.
and
It's all about the money.
right. But hey, if that's what it takes, I mean, whatever. But
And look, dude, competition breeds contempt, dude. It really
Sure.
does, man.
Sure.
It really does when you look at it, and it is. And a lot of these platforms, I think even Facebook has probably opened up a little bit to where it's a little more lenient, and it should be. It doesn't matter the owners and the CEOs and the board of directors, how they feel and all that stuff. It's like, dude, let people like myself and even the left, I'm open to it, bring their opinions and what they want to say, and we'll debate it healthily. And I think that's really, when you look back at like Charlie Kirk, man, when you look back at Charlie Kirk, he was doing nothing wrong. He was bringing everything to the forefront. All this man wanted to do on college campus was debate people and what was wrong, what was right, and it was his opinion,
No,
and I mean, the man was assassinated over it, and it's really fucked up, if I had to say,
And if you get to like the big conspiracy part of that, as far as why they would have wanted Kirk gone. You know, I know a lot of people are talking about Israel, but if you look at it from the political standpoint in this country, he was getting to the young people. You know what I mean? He was starting to, a lot of the young people were starting to pay attention to him, and that they don't want that. You know what I mean? One side in the country don't want. It's the last thing they need is the young people to wake up, because it seems like all they ever capture are the young people and the stupid people, which you know, it's pretty much one and the same. But you know, once they lose that any hope of capturing that young vote, they're almost done with. So and that's just what some people are saying, you know, as far as the, you know, if you go real deep into the Charlie Kirk thing, that's saying our government had anything to do with it, which I don't know if that's the case or not. You know, I don't know if I want to go that far with it, but anyway, Justin, I seen you had a comment up there earlier from who was that from? Said something about politics. Politics is like football.
Yeah, he said politics like football, and there's only 2 teams, and they both suck.
Well, and I'm with you. That's the best way to look at it. I mean,
True.
I know everybody likes to, you know, try to align with a certain side, but yeah, I mean, in the end, man, they're all for themselves. You know,
they really are.
It just seems like right now one side is way more violent than the other, and you know that shit needs to be curbed, which I believe it can. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, man, look, when I sit back and I look at life, and I'm 54 years old, and I have grown kids, I have grandkids now in this world, and when I sit back and I look at it, it's like it truly is. And if you have faith, you believe in God, you believe in family, and you believe in country, man. And I just think America is just so unique here, man, when it comes to First Amendment. Or whatever amendments that we have out there, it's such a unique place. There's no other place in the hemisphere that can say, hey, we can do what you do. And it's such a beautiful thing when you sit back and look at that, and you look at just God, how blessed we are to grow up in something like that, because there's plenty of countries all over the world. Dude, you say what you want to say and speak your mind, guess what happens? Not just you are going to some type of political prison, but your whole family is decimated, you know? And it's an important thing, because I always say it. The United States as a whole fails, the whole world goes to shit. I don't care what they say, man, you know?
No, it's true. That's true.
It's very true.
Kristen, at your age and the people that you know, do y'all, I mean, is politics even a discussion with y'all? I mean, does it ever? You muted.
You're muted.
Never mind. We'll come back to you. Having technical difficulties. Yeah, I wanted to get her opinion because she's a young.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
Yes, I punted the ball to her. She fumbled. Ran her off.
It's okay. But yeah, I think when you look at it as a whole, and I'm open to all opinions, and we do this not for a living. We do this as just, we love to do what we do. And Shane and I, you know, you and myself, Shane, we've been talking politics for years since we've known each other. And it's a beautiful thing to have this open dialect, man, and this open dialogue, and just be able to talk. And there's days you and I disagree on stuff, but that's the beauty and part of it, man, of where we can go with it and what you can do with it and say what the hell you want to say, you know?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you back with us?
It's a very important amendment in this in society. Not even in this country, but worldwide. And there's so many people that are suppressed that it's really, and we live in this bubble, man. We live in this bubble that it's like, it's the United States of America, but we live in this bubble that, dude, what are people in North Korea, you know, or what are people in different countries are going through each and every day, you know?
Well, according to Kim Jong-un, it's not that bad over there.
It's not that
I mean,
exactly. Right. Yeah.
No, honestly, look, we couldn't be doing what we're doing right here. You know what I mean? Without the right to be able to just express your feelings without any kind of repercussions from the government. You know, I mean, honestly, we get on here, we run our mouths, we talk shit. Not everybody agrees with us. A lot of people, if they had their way, we wouldn't be able to do that. But luckily, that's not how it is, or not supposed to be in this country. Now, Kristen, getting back to you.
Yes.
It was a simple question, and you frickin' decided you didn't want to answer it.
It's being
no,
stupid
I'm just
tonight.
kidding. Youngins like yourself, I mean, you're young 20s. I mean, is politics a thing with y'all?
No.
So it's still kind of.
I mean, not people that I talk to.
But you
they don't
see
pay
it,
attention
right?
to it.
but you see it day in and day out, I'm sure. Like social
Yeah, I see
media
it because I
wise.
pay attention to it, but
Yeah.
they like are just completely oblivious to anything that's going on,
Really. So there is still
which
people.
must be a very peaceful life.
It really is, honestly, because I know
Yes.
if I take a break from this bullshit just for a few days, it's like a big sigh of like, oh God, that was
Yeah.
nice. And then
It
like
was.
Justin
It
mentioned
is.
earlier, as soon as you get back on it, there it is. There comes the shit
Yep.
fest. And I'm thinking, why did I even get back on this thing? You know,
It's
it's
what
Yeah.
we do. It
I
really
know.
is, dude. Yeah.
I know.
And
So
we chose it, we do it, and we eat it, we live it. And I do. I'm like you, Shane. Dude, if I can go a couple of days at my hunting camp and limited internet, limited phone, I'm doing more with my family that's up there. We're hunting and we're having a good time. And it's God, it's so true. You come home on a Sunday, you relax, and the next thing you put on Fox News or you start looking on your phone. It's like, God damn, dude, why did I do this? Why am I going back down this
just
rabbit hole, you know?
just got my TikTok For You page back normal.
Did you?
Yeah.
Just yeah. I guess you got to watch what you want it to be for a while.
I just kept not interested. Not
Yeah.
interested. I was so
Yes.
over it.
All right, I just had a message from someone. I'll read it out, see if this adds to the conspiracy. Now, I haven't even proofread this, so let's see. I'm just going to read it as I'm seeing it here.
Let's do it.
They took the audio from 7 to 10 videos, did some fancy math with the gunshot and sound speed and distance from each camera to the shooter, etc. Experts say if you have 3, you can triangulate the bullet origin with a 95% plus accuracy, where it is the percentage accuracy of 7 hit the same. Oh Lord, he lost me on this. I guess what they're saying is from the sounds waves, if you analyze it, that the newest thing is the bullet came from a different direction. I guess is what I'm getting from this. I'm kind of trying to make sense of it as I'm reading it. But I don't know. So that's what I mean. That's the type of shit that
Yeah.
you can go down these holes all night long, and some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't, some of it you don't know any different. So it's like, oh well, that sounds good. It's like, So I don't know.
It's
No,
very
it's
true,
Yeah.
man. How do you go down these rabbit holes and you start thinking out the box a little bit, which I've always done my whole life, man, as I just think out the box in everything I do. And it's like, yeah, and I do. I think there's more to it. I really do. I do not think this case is cut and dry. But and then again, people will play you off as some type of like conspiracy theorist, and it's like, I don't know. Maybe they got to this guy. He was that agitated, that aggravated with Charlie Kirk, listening to the hate that he was spewing in his mind. And I don't. Is there money involved? Here, I'll give you $100,000 or $200,000. Just go do what you got to do. And I don't know. It's just I don't think it'll ever be solved. I mean, look, maybe by the time we're 30, 40 years, they'll redact something and send it out there for the Charlie Kirk assassination. But I might not be here to hear it. So
Yeah, and then when it comes to money, like you said, like even if they say, hey, look, we'll pay you $100,000 if you do this,
Right.
And then you find out your life is on the line now.
Right.
Wouldn't you think you'd be squealing like a pig? Like, wait a second.
You think you would, but
Yeah.
can you?
Well, that's true. Yeah, and he
Yes.
may be
Can
trying
you?
to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's being suppressed. I mean, you just never know, And I was hitting on it earlier that like the JFK, and I still have my doubts with Lee Harvey Oswald, Jack Ruby. It was a whole lot deeper than that,
yeah,
man.
well,
And we'll never know. And I just look, was Lee Harvey Oswald there, and the gun was found at the books depository, and yeah, maybe so. I don't know. Just like they said, we landed on the moon, but that never happened either.
Well-
but that's for another debate. But anyway,
When you
that
get-
really is. That's for
Well,
another
when you
debate.
get into the
but
JFK thing, I believe Oswald was one of the shooters. I think the whole lie is that
Yes.
there was
Yes.
other people there that popped off rounds to make sure.
And you're hitting the point that I'm trying to make, that I think that it's nothing's changed from JFK to today, that these people and if you look at Oswald, he was a socialist. He was a Marxist communist, man. He really was. He hated America, but he was here, and he was married to a Russian girl, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But when you sit back and look at it, was he somehow paid through a certain portal or something, and here, you're going to go up here and do this, but was it more entailed, and you're going to take the fall, and it is what it is. But
Well, yeah, and then they took his ass out, of course.
Absolutely.
you know,
It's
he-
amazing though when you sit there and you say that, dude. Yes, they took him out. Who took him out? Who took Oswald out? Jack Ruby.
Of course.
Jack Ruby takes him out, right? And then it's just amazing that Jack Ruby dies of cancer in prison.
Yeah.
Dude,
I know. Yeah, that
you
whole
know,
story, man.
It's
nuts.
like here. And let me hit on this real quick. And I know we're kind of going off the
No, go
cuff
ahead.
here, but Rush Limbaugh, and I'm gonna hit on him, the greatest guy ever that has been in radio. He has started the revolution of the whole Republican and conservative revolution. But here's a guy that is making millions and millions and millions of dollars every year, right? So with those contracts that he does, he's obligated to take these physicals, medical physicals every year, right? Medical physicals every year to make sure he's healthy and he's abiding by his contracts. And all of a sudden, when he's diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. How? I just,
Yeah.
and I'm not, and when I go that route, I'm like, I just don't trust the inner workings of government and powers that'll be, because dude, all it is a shot. It could be anything to introduce that into somebody's body. And here we are. And you see what I'm saying? When you go down the conspiracy end of it, is it, he smoked cigars and he drank liquor. Was it all I have to do is get something in his drink or on a cigar or something like that? And guess what, dude? I've introduced the chemical that needs to be done, and now you're dying of cancer. Jack Ruby. And it's just me. I go down these deep rabbit holes, dude. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man, when you think about it, just to silence a voice. And I don't know.
I think the average person thinks that shit's crazy because we don't think like that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I do believe, man, when it comes to the CIA and all these government organizations that you never really see their inner workings of, you probably have no idea how low they will go to accomplish whatever they're trying to accomplish. I mean, we're known, this country alone is known for, starting wars and staying in these never-ending wars, no matter how many lives are lost, all so someone can profit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think this government, and not just ours, but governments around the world, are just filled with people that it's hard to even fathom how their mind works. And that's how they got to those positions of power, because they don't think like you and I. They have no morals, you know. It's all about control and wealth and acquiring those two by any means necessary. And I just think you don't become a higher up in any of these programs if you don't have that type of mindset.
Exactly. And it is about the control, and you can look at somebody as simple as, when I say simple, no political power, just a news outlet, was Andrew Breitbart. And when you look at him, dude, all of a sudden he's jogging in New York, which he did all the time. He jogged all the time. And all of a sudden he died of a massive heart attack. I don't know. And I'm going way back, dude. I'm going back to the Clinton era here when I sit back and talk about this, and it's like, really? And then you start reading these, you go down these rabbit holes and you start reading it. Well, he was coming out with something against Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton or whatever it was. It's just, I don't know. It sends me on this mission, dude, where it's like, dude, I don't trust any of it, dude. We landed on the moon. It's a round Earth. I don't believe any of it, dude. I don't believe any of this shit, dude. I don't believe any of it, dude. I don't believe it. Lied to whole fucking life, dude.
But listen, you always have me until you start with the flat Earth, because you never once said why it would benefit the government to lie.
It's a whole nother topic, man. It's a whole, and I have increased my knowledge about it. And dude,
that's all I'm curious. That's really all I want to know.
I would not mind explaining it why I think it's a flat Earth.
I'm saying, who does it benefit to lie about that? Is all I ever ask.
It's all about coercion and tricking the people, the average person, just to think that this is where it's at. I truly believe that. I think it's all a lie, dude. I think we've been lied to our whole life about every fucking thing.
I do believe that. Yeah, full of fucking lies, man.
And I'm ranting, dude. I'm sorry, but let's get somebody else in there, dude. Yeah, Justin, what you think about all this, Justin?
Are you gonna watch the Tucker Carlson 9/11 shit that he's doing right now?
Ah,
Have you
God, that's a
seen
whole
that?
nother hoax too, man. I mean, that's a whole nother rabbit
Well,
hole to
have
go
you
down,
seen it? He just put out a whole thing on
I bet.
9/11 that they're talking
Yeah.
about basically, the CIA letting the terrorists into the country and wouldn't allow CIA agents to report it to the FBI and shit like that. And I was listening to it on the way to work this morning, but I just didn't know if you had seen that yet.
No, I
Started
haven't.
watching it or whatever.
Not at
No,
all. And I'm not, look,
I'm
I'm not
disappointed in you,
doubting that
honestly.
planes flew into a building, but there's more to it.
I
I
think
don't know.
you are.
I kind of find it suspicious, dude.
I think
Donald
you are.
Rumsfeld stands up 3 months before all of this shit goes down, and the Department of Defense is missing $2 trillion, and it's just, I don't know, man. I just find it, and most of those guys back then, if you Dick Cheney and George Bush Sr., probably George Bush, they're warmongers, man. They made a shit ton of money off of the war, and they loved it, and they just ate it up, and it is what it is. So,
No, I'm with you.
Fair
I'm
enough.
with you. With
yeah.
especially
Yeah.
What
with
about
9/11.
vaccines?
Anyway, I'm not saying nothing. Yeah, vaccines. Ah, that's a whole nother issue too, man. But yeah,
Can you pull up
we got
that
podcasts
link that I sent
forever
earlier?
here.
Can I pull up the link you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's pull
Pull
it
that
up. Like you want it on the screen?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
We'll show the people.
Show the peeps. Let's see.
It's a
Let's pull
whole
it.
nother thing too, man. Do you think Tylenol has been causing autism
I
during
saw.
pregnancy?
Yeah, I saw that,
Ah,
man.
God,
Even
I don't know, dude. Ah, Jesus, I don't know. Come
I
on,
s-
RFK, you could
well,
have done better than that, dude.
yeah, and I don't. I think it's the the ingredient in Tylenol they claim
Yes.
is what he was saying. But I know right now it's got the left basically eating bottles of it. Just because Trump said not to. While
Well,
they're pregnant.
Look, it's got to be better than Tide Pods, right, dude? Tide Pods. It's got to be better than that shit, dude. Yeah, eat Tylenol, you'll be okay, dude. You won't have a headache, dude.
Fucking dummies. All right, Justin, what am I pulling up? Let me find it here. All right, there it is. Let's share
My
this with the
motherfucking link.
peeps. Let's see what we're getting into right now. That's gonna get us taken out.
Probably will.
Yeah.
Ah, Jesus, don't say that, dude. I close my shades every time I do this podcast.
All right.
Just
don't
in
blame
case,
you,
dude.
just in case. Yeah.
Just
So-
in case.
Let's go ahead and go to page 2 on there.
Page 2. All right.
Page
there it
2.
is.
Right. So the participants in this study, this is the Henry Ford study. The participants are 18,468 children born between 2000 and 2016 enrolled in the health system insurance plan. Right. So what it's trying to figure out is the development of chronic health conditions over time in vaccinated versus unvaccinated children.
Gotcha.
All right. The meat and potatoes of it is down on page 17.
So we'll
If we can go ahead and
jump to
scroll down there.
17.
Yeah.
Got it. Right
Y'all
there.
can go find it and read the whole thing if you want, right? But basically, this table 2, all right? So this is any vaccine exposure versus no vaccine exposure, all right? And it
Okay.
basically lists, health issues, disabilities, and whatnot. And it tells you how many children experience these health issues. So we'll go down to, let's go diabetes. All right. There's not many on diabetes. But so food allergy, right? So out of the 18,000 some odd children that were studied, 577 developed food allergies that had been vaccinated. 30 that were not vaccinated developed a food
That's
allergy.
a big gap.
That's interesting, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Neurodevelopmental disorder, just as a broad spectrum. 1,029 vaccinated children developed it. Any type of neurodevelopmental disorder
Which
versus
is what,
9.
ADHD, autism, behavioral development, disability, shit like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Versus 9 non-vaccinated children.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
And who did this study?
Wow.
So this is the Henry Ford study.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah,
and
it's not just
there's
some-
a full documentary being released on this. I think it's October maybe 6th it comes out. Basically, the study was shelved for a while. Like they
I'm sure it
wouldn't
was.
allow it to be released. But I mean, you can see the numbers there. Chronic health condition, 4,700 children wind up with a chronic health condition that were vaccinated versus 160 that had no vaccine exposure, right? So the numbers are there.
Okay, there you are. You on page 16. Okay. I had it on 17. I was wondering where you're
I'm
getting
on
these
17.
numbers
What you
from.
talking about?
Well, I'm on 16, and I see what you're seeing now. But diabetes is what, 42?
Yes.
Yeah.
42 versus 0.
0. Yeah, and this is the type of stuff that RFK has been preaching since day one, and they call him a kook. They try to get him where people write him off as he's nuts, because that seems to be their go-to plan. It's convince people you're crazy so they don't pay attention to you, and when that don't work, we kill you. That seems to be the government's plan. You know what I mean? It's kind of how it works. I think that's what's kept people like Alex Jones alive, is that they're able to kind of get people to write him off as a nut. So it's like, it doesn't matter. It's Alex Jones. You can't believe nothing he's saying. The man's crazy.
Well, ain't that true?
Yeah. Right. And it worked because
100%.
he really fucked himself when the Sandy Hook shit came out.
Yeah,
he did.
And so now they don't worry about what people like him say. So I think that seems to be their first step, is trying to paint you as crazy. And that's what they were doing with RFK right now. They've got it to where when he releases stuff like we're reading right now, not that he released this, but he will bring receipts like this and say, look, this is what's going on. I'm not saying 100% vaccine has caused this, but here's the correlation. It sure does seem like there's a spike in all of this in children when we started pumping them full of vaccines. So you take that information and do what you want with it, and they call the man fucking crazy instead of just saying, well, let me look into this. You know what I mean? Let me see.
Well, scroll down to page 19. It'll be the red and blue graph.
So you're 19 or
whichever one has the goddamn graph on it.
that one there?
This is the 10-year chronic disease-free survival by vaccine exposure. So survival probability is your up and down axis, right? Versus your time in years. And red is non-vaccinated. Blue is vaccinated.
Wow. Whoa.
So
there you go. That's the graph.
I stand to say on this podcast that I am non-vaccinated.
Well, you probably got pumped full of when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, well, to a degree. Yeah. I don't know.
This
I
is
don't
your-
know about
your-
today, but
We
yeah,
all did.
Yeah.
This is your 2000 versus 2000 to 2016 vaccinations, right?
Yeah.
This isn't, your
Okay,
2021
yeah. I wanna
push
go back.
vaccinations.
Man, I want to see this shit here blows my mind with these numbers, man. Look at that. Look at ADHD, which every child now has.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, 262 of them out of how many case studies?
I believe
was
it was 18,000 something. Let me see. I'll tell you the exact number.
All right, so
18,468 children.
Right. 262 of them developed ADHD. However the fuck they diagnosed that. I mean, there's no blood test you can take for that. So, whatever. 262 to 0.
To 0.
Yeah. But like I said, that one's a little sketchy to me because there's no way to really, I mean, how do you diagnose that besides saying, oh, your kid's having trouble in school, ADHD. You know what I mean? So there.
Yeah, but even so, like, no unvaccinated children even went
Right. Exactly.
to get diagnosed.
Yeah. They didn't even show any kind of symptoms that would push a doctor to say they have whatever this ADHD is. Yeah, I get it.
Or even speech disorder, right? 463 versus 6.
Yeah. The big one that really stands out, besides the autism, which is crazy nowadays, the food allergies that you hear of with these kids, man, that
dude.
shit didn't exist when I was in school.
No, I ate peanuts my whole life, dude.
Yeah, well, everybody I knew, it was that you never once was it like, oh, you can't bring this type of food to school because people are highly allergic. And I'm not saying the kids aren't nowadays. It's just it's just crazy how they
never went on when we were younger.
No,
never ever.
And that's another thing that kind of goes along with the same time frame that they started injecting everybody with this bullshit from the time they were babies. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden these allergies are being hatched, and that's another thing that RFK touched on, man. The food allergies that go right along with what this chart is saying. And for some reason,
if you look at asthma, Asthma's a
Where's
big
that
one.
at? Oh, a
28.
big
It's
one.
the second one. Yeah, 2867 versus 52.
52, man. So, and the problem is, if you're not fortunate enough to be able to put your child in private school, you have no choice but to pump them full of this shit that they're wanting to do every year because it's all mandated. You know what I mean? You can't attend school without it. And not everybody's in a position to homeschool or private school. So you're stuck doing this to your child, and it's a fucking shame because this is another thing it's like with the politics and the war and everything. It's all for profit. That's it. They don't give two fucks about who it helps because it's not.
Right.
Yeah, right. You're looking at these numbers, and it sure does seem like it's hurting more people than it's helping.
Right, and I think we kind of touched on this a few weeks ago, where we were talking about like the drug trials, right? How they'll shelf shit like this, to get their drug FDA approved, right?
Absolutely.
So this will be kind of pushed to the side. We didn't see those papers, So,
that's
and that's
exactly
what they did with this.
Well, and that's what happens, and that's one of the biggest scams is that these pharmaceutical companies can run their own studies and release the information they want to the FDA.
Right.
So it's like you said, if they come up with this study right here, they would say, look, out of 18,000 people, only 42 had diabetes that were vaccinated. Oh, okay, well that's not a bad number. Now they don't tell you 0 for the non-vaccinated. They don't tell you that part of the study.
Why would they, dude?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. But the point is that they're allowed to do that by law, which should not be. Everything should have to be disclosed to the FDA. But the FDA is no different than any other 3 letters in the government. They're all bought and fucking paid for. So they don't care about these numbers.
And I believe also this is like a 10-year after the fact study. So, this is just the numbers up to that time frame. So
yeah, there's no telling what else was going. Yeah, but I see what
so
you're
you
saying,
see like, I don't know, we'll say like you said with the diabetes, right? 42 versus 0, right? Well, how many more got diabetes after the study
this
ended,
is just giving
right?
you yeah, this is, and then look, they only did 18,000. I mean, there's millions of kids that get this shit,
right?
So yeah, this is just a small fraction of what is really going on. I mean, assuming these numbers are correct, I don't know why the Henry Ford Center would put this shit out. It's not like they've been pushing, no vaccines and shit like that. I mean, you don't hear nothing from them about that.
Right.
These are just the numbers they come up with. And like you said, these numbers have probably been readily available for a while.
Right.
If you know where to look. But they damn sure ain't just going to give it to Fox News or somebody and say, here, put these numbers out.
Right. And I mean, even now that it is, out and you can go look at it and there's a documentary being made, it's not being made on fucking Hulu and it's not being made on Netflix, right? You still got to dig deep to go find the documentary.
Where's it coming out at?
Let me see.
Because I'm surprised anybody's putting that on, really. I mean, man, look, these pharmaceuticals, I'm watching now, Fox News. What's on commercial? Fucking pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
They're
funding it, dude. Yeah,
they are. That's why even Fox can't go too hard on them because they pay the bills. These pharmaceutical companies, they own the media in the way of advertising. You know what I mean? It's like, I doubt they send them a letter and say, hey, don't say anything bad about us. But these people that run these stations aren't stupid. They know who pays the bills.
Yeah.
And it's
An
crazy,
Inconvenient Study is what the documentary is called. It is premiering October 3rd.
And it'll gain 0 traction. And
probably so.
If it even starts to gain any, they're gonna write it off as it's fake news, it's all bullshit. Those numbers aren't right. You're gonna have people that are gonna fight this with every fiber in the being, man.
And these numbers are on a .gov website, right? So it's not just like John Smith made a website and was like, let me post this big ass paper.
Sure. And when did they release this study? Like, has it been on the website for a while? I'm just curious. Like,
September 12th, 2025.
Okay,
is
so
the date that I'm getting off
recently.
Google.
Right.
Yeah.
So this administration.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was getting at. That you
Right.
know, that of course, it's on the government website right now. It'll probably be gone when the next administration
Sure.
comes in.
Yeah.
Once Gavin
Why would you want to
Newsom's
post that
running
shit, dude? Yeah, absolutely. Gavin Newsom.
Once he's in the White House.
Jesus.
So if y'all want to check it out, aninconvenientstudy.com. Again, premieres October 3rd. We can learn about vaccines and our
Yes.
children.
It's crazy, man. Every parent should. I mean, but like I said, some of them you don't have you're kind of forced to do this shit, man.
Yep.
And unless this administration can change that to where, you know, they stop with mandating so many of these vaccines for you to be able to attend school, or at least do like a lot of them say, you know, spread them out more. Because that could be another issue that RFK and them talk about, that it may not be necessarily what they're giving you, it's how close together you just start getting pumped up full of this shit as a child.
Right.
And then, you know, the one with the hepatitis B is a big one. I mean, even, you know, that's what Trump was touching on. Like, why the hell would a child need that? STD. You know, why would they need a vaccine against that? It's just an unnecessary vaccine. But they're, you know, the pharmaceutical companies making millions now. You know, if they can convince the FDA to push this shit where now every child that attends school needs it, well, there you go. You know,
Yeah, because I saw the argument on the Hep whatever the fuck, Hep C or whatever, and you know, oh well, basically mothers can pass Hep C down to their children, you know, I guess from birthing them, you know, but if they already have it, then they don't need a vaccine for it anyway, right?
That, and if the mother has it, then that's something that can be dealt with then. Like, hey, okay, your child may need this, but to make it mandatory is what the problem is. Like, look, I think it's fucked up, but if you want to give your child 817 vaccines by the time they're 3 years old, then hey, you go ahead with it. But don't force me to give it to my child.
Well, I'm just saying, like, is Hep C like a crack addiction, when you know how the babies come out addicted to crack? Like, is it like they come out with Hep C because the mom had it?
I mean, it's a blood, I would assume. I don't know.
So then what would a vaccine do at that point, I guess is my point.
Probably nothing. That's the whole,
If they
that's
already
the
have
point of
it,
yeah, that's
at
a lot of
birth,
them.
you know?
Yeah.
That's like saying, like, the COVID vaccine, it didn't stop anything, but they still convinced you that you had to have it, you know?
Right.
I mean,
God,
boy, you
the
realize
ads they pumping even to this day with the COVID, you know,
I know.
it's still, it's just like.
so. Yeah, I'm with you, Justin. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's, you know, if a mother has it, if the baby's automatically born with it. If that's the case, you're right. Then the vaccines, it's not a cure, so it's not curing it. It's supposed to prevent it. But if the child already has it, and if the mother doesn't have it, then what the hell are you worried about a child with a sexual transmitted disease? I mean, it makes no sense at all. Man, I mean, I'm not a damn scientist or a doctor, but just from what I know about it and hear about it, that's one, you know, that's one vaccine that makes zero sense. I mean, it's crazy, which, you know, probably the half of them that they give these kids, they don't need, you know.
No.
Big money in it, though.
There is big money in it.
We should have sold
Not just
vaccines.
vaccines, dude, medicines all the way around, man. When we're talking about, you know, all these blood pressure and cholesterols and God, dude, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Western medicine, to be honest with you. But I mean, look, you need it. You need antibiotics. I think it's great. But just to say, hey, you need to take this blood pressure medication or this cholesterol med, you're a little high. Yeah, screw you, dude. I'll
you just
deal with
remember,
that.
when you get pregnant, Brad, don't take Tylenol. Okay.
Yes.
I seen somebody.
I'm out.
I wish I knew who it was. I'd give them props. I seen somebody tweeted out earlier on X. You know, does this affect pregnant men too? they were asking the left. You
Dude,
know?
it's so great, dude. It really is, dude. Yeah, it's so great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, look, that was a big one, because did you see Tylenol actually responded on X saying that we've never, or you know, we've always, you know, said that pregnant women don't need to take any of our products.
Right.
And
I did see that.
people were calling them out on that bullshit, you know, because for years they were saying it was safe. So for Tylenol to come out and say that, then they must know it's probably not the best thing for a pregnant woman to be taking.
And it'll also kill your liver, whether you're a pregnant woman or not, you know?
Yeah, it's not an anti-inflammatory. It really, it does nothing but a painkiller, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I
To a
don't
degree,
even believe
yeah.
it does
Fever
that,
reducer,
dude. Like,
maybe.
if I taken a leave and then run out and take a Tylenol, it does nothing.
Yeah, I don't do the Tylenol. I have to do ibuprofen with the pain if I'm ever in any pain. Yeah, I guess it's a fever reducer. So unless you're running a high fever, somebody was saying that you probably shouldn't be taking it anyway, unless you just have a fever you can't kick. Then of course try it, whatever. But yeah, I don't
probably
take
just
the
like
shit.
chalk pills. Like, here, this does something.
Yeah, I don't take it. I remember that. Speaking of Tylenol, that's what kind of made it to where they start sealing all this shit now. Because years ago, somebody's putting that cyanide shit in it and putting it back on the store shelves. And I'm thinking, and it hit me. I was like, they didn't seal this shit before that. It was just you could just take it off the shelf, open it, put it back. Nobody would ever know that you tampered with their medicine, man. It's weird because nowadays everything is fucking childproof and tamper-proof.
Everything.
It's hard to believe that it wasn't, But
Buddy's still on the run too.
Yeah, they never did
dead.
catch you.
He's
Yeah,
probably
dead,
dead.
but yeah, they never did catch you. Did that?
So
At least as far as I know.
we've been doctors, right?
Oh, we are.
So
We're
now,
scientists, doctors.
Well, now it's time to be lawyers. I want to know how y'all feel about
Do
this.
it.
Right?
That's my second job. Go.
Good. All right. So, Hennepin County law enforcement condemn a new traffic stop policy. Okay. So basically, the district attorney came out and said that they will no longer be prosecuting felony cases that stem from low-level traffic stops. So you get pulled over for window tint.
Right.
No blinker, no headlights, shit like that, right? And you have an illegal firearm in the vehicle, right? When it gets to this prosecutor's desk, they're going to throw it out because they feel like the police need to be focusing on stopping real criminals as far as like reckless drivers. And so they're basically trying to incentivize the police to stop pulling people over that have window tint and, small violations by not prosecuting the felonies that come across their desks stemming from those traffic stops.
Yeah, I'm trying to soak this all in. I'm really trying to make sense of it before I go off on it. I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. Where is this again?
Hennepin County.
Okay,
Let's see where that is.
Look it up real fast and tell me the political demographic over there.
I believe it is in Minnesota.
Oh, fuck. They're weird as shit. Sorry if anybody's in Minnesota listening, but y'all are weird. Tim Walls is from Minnesota. He's weird as fuck. Tell me is it a Democrat run? Because it sounds like
Hennepin County, Minnesota.
Yeah, sounds like some dumb shit a Democrat would propose.
They are mainly blue, it looks like, according to this map.
They are. I'm telling you now, I can tell you without looking at the map. No body in their right mind that has any kind of support for law and order would ever propose something so fucking stupid.
Right.
So, you need to look for real criminals, right? You happen to find one by pulling somebody over for not using their blinker, and you're supposed to ignore that.
Yeah.
So it makes them I can't even. I don't know.
Yeah. What if they got like a dead body in the car?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they were saying. They found one. There was it wasn't a dead body, but it was a stabbed up girl that so basically the dude got pulled over for no license plate, right? Which is one of the low level offenses that they are deciding that they don't want police to stop people on, right? So they pull this car over. He's got no license plate. They walk up to the window and his girlfriend's in the passenger seat. He done stabbed her up. She's actively dying in the passenger seat. So they saved her life. She lived because they pulled this car over for no license plate, right? That woman would be dead today.
Right.
If they just stopped pulling these cars over. They said they pulled, it was approximately 350 illegal firearms off the streets the previous year, right? Half of those came from low-level traffic offenses, being pulled over. So about 175 illegal firearms were pulled out of those city streets based off of pulling people over for no blinker, for tint, for no headlights, for out tail lights, for no license plate. But they want to stop it.
So, I mean, what do you think is behind, honestly, pushing something like that?
Well,
what could it be besides bad intent? Like, I don't.
The prosecutor says that it is to try to curb the racial injustices that minorities face.
I get it, but do you
behalf of
think
the police
But do
department.
you think the prosecutor believes that?
No.
Like, in other words, so what would be the real reason why they think this is a good idea at all? Because I refuse to believe someone who made it to a prosecutor in life is this fucking retarded. I refuse to believe it. So therefore, it lets me know they have no good intent behind something like this, because it makes zero sense. So why do you think these people that run these democratic cities refuse to do anything that would combat crime? It's crazy. And then you want to sit there and act like they don't know why the shit won't end, or, push the blame where it doesn't belong.
Right.
It's always somebody else's fault. It's, they need more funding and need more jobs, the white man, whatever the fuck they're saying.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with these ignorant fucking policies that they're trying to push through. So, I mean, what else could be behind this besides ill intent?
Are prosecutors elected officials?
Prosecutors?
Yeah, like city, state
I don't think
prosecutors,
so.
or are they
I
hired
think,
in?
yeah, I think you just apply.
Brad's muted.
Yeah. But no, you
There
go
you go.
through the DA, man.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, most of your prosecutors are just jobs, But
Well,
yeah,
is the
everything
district attorney, is the DA elected in, or?
yes.
Yeah,
In
Okay,
most
so then
places, yeah,
most
that's the
absolutely.
only thing I can
Yes.
think is that the
Yes.
DA wants
For
votes
votes.
and knows
Yeah.
their
Yeah, you're
demographic that they're
you're
getting-
pandering to
you
your crowd that
right.
it's like, full of criminals, so you pander to. And I'm not saying everybody in those places are criminals, but the crime rate's probably high. A lot of people don't respect law enforcement. They have a bad rapport, with them. So therefore, in order to keep these voters, you have to push shit that it looks like you're looking out for them, because
Right.
they're, and it's people that family members might be locked up, which they feel is mistreated by the law, because, that's how a lot of people are that can't stay out of trouble. It's never their fault, and it's never their baby. Not my baby. My baby didn't do nothing. So therefore, they push shit like this, and it grabs these people's attention. Like, oh, yeah, see, Junebug wouldn't be in jail right now had they not pulled him over for that license plate that was
Exactly.
expired, even though he had an AK-47 with ground off serial numbers on it, shit like that. So, yeah, I can see, that's what I mean by there has to be something more to it than they really believe this is a good idea. I don't believe these politicians that push this shit are that stupid. I refuse to believe it. I think the people that follow them are. So it sounds good to their ignorant crowd, and it keeps them elected. And it's a
Right.
shame
I
to
want to answer Trinity.
Do it.
She said so the guy without a license plate who stabbed his girlfriend didn't get prosecuted for attempted murder. So he did. That was an example that the sheriff used from the previous year, basically going back and forth with the DA about why the DA is trying to push that they stop pulling over cars for low-level traffic offenses. And that was his rebuttal of why that's a terrible fucking idea.
Horrible.
Is because
Yes.
these are the things that come out of these low-level offenses. Now, it may be one out of every 2,000 cars they pull over in the city throughout the year that's got
But-
some obscene craziness going on inside of it, right? But just this one, this one woman's life was saved based off of the cops doing their job and pulling over a car that didn't have a license plate. Had they been trained to not pull these cars over, this girl would be dead. She'd probably be in a river somewhere, right?
Well-
So,
Brad, did you catch the beginning of that, Brad? How this came up?
No.
Yeah, they where's it at, you said, Justin? It's in
Hennepin County, Minnesota.
Yeah, one of them stupid counties in Minnesota. They trying to push forward basically if you get pulled over for a minor offense,
Right.
not using your blinker, well, in the event they find that there's a felony being committed, say you've got weapons on you, drugs on you. Well,
Right.
they can't prosecute you for that felony because they pulled you over for a bullshit reason. Not a
Gotcha.
bullshit reason, but a minor reason.
Right.
And
Which
that,
they can. It's the DA saying she won't.
what you mean?
The
Oh,
DA
she
is saying
won't.
she won't. Yes, that's her office's
Oh.
policy, is that she will no longer prosecute felony charges.
Watch how much that community prospers. That's all I can tell you. My
So they're
God.
going to hit her desk
the
as,
fuck out of
hey,
cities, people.
we pulled this car over and they had guns
I see
and
what
these are
you're
felon,
saying.
and she's going to say, now throw them out.
Yeah, so this isn't even a we're
Yep.
putting this up for vote type shit. It's my office is not going to,
Right.
because she's trying to deter these
Exactly.
police from harassing people by
Exactly.
pulling them over for breaking the law. I got it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes sense to me, dude. Fuck it. That's what keeps the areas we live in great and the ones they do shit. So let them keep having it.
Yep.
You know? My
So-
God, that sounds like some dumb shit that woman in New Orleans would put out. Or LaToya Cantrell,
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
That made
Got
my
one.
night.
I got one other thing. Y'all remember? I think it was 21 or 22, right? That video was going around, huge video of those neighbors. They were arguing in the snow, and Buddy went in and got
yes.
his pistol and came
Oh,
out,
yeah,
shot
yeah.
the two neighbors and
Yeah.
shit. Well, I was just, it wound up popping up on my news feed, so I did some research in it. Apparently, there is a whole hour-long crime doc on that case, on Fear Thy Neighbor,
Ooh, I like
and
that show.
Yeah. It's a
it
good
kind
show.
of it goes basically into the relationship that the two that got shot had with the neighborhood, and it was a pretty cool documentary. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my point. But
Did,
y'all should definitely watch it, because I was like, God damn, I didn't know it got that deep.
I get into that Fear Thy
Did
Neighbor,
y'all see
man.
the one that Netflix is coming out with? I'm trying to find the name of it. Oh, The Perfect Neighbor. Have y'all seen that?
No, is it one of those
So
or
it's
crime?
It's body cam footage. Hours and hours of police body cam footage of this certain situation.
Between these
like-
certain neighbors?
Yeah, like how
Yeah.
many times they were called up there, and it ended up somebody died, stuff like that.
Well,
but
yeah, I figured that part.
well,
but,
it shows it in the
yeah.
trailer.
No, I know what you mean.
But I looked at the trailer and it was really cool because I think it's just strictly body cam footage
Yeah.
that
I'm
you
going
see
to check it
from
out
like.
because I live on, I'll sit there and binge watch that Fear Thy Neighbor shit because it'll just play
Yeah.
back to back.
Isn't that crazy, dude?
Yeah. and it-
Season 9,
Me too,
episode
dude.
2, dog.
yeah, it's got me like, I ain't talking
Yeah.
to none of my neighbors. That's it.
No.
You should
Done.
watch.
Yeah, fuck them, dude.
It's on Max. Signs of a Psychopath.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Those are
check it
really
out.
good. Yeah.
So if it ain't politics, it's watching crazy people that murder people. That's
Yes.
what that's what keeps us all on edge.
Dude, and you wonder why PTSD is so fucking
it's
relevant, dude.
that ain't vaccine related. That's from
No,
all the
it's
bullshit
not,
we
dude.
take in. Yeah.
Jeez,
Damn.
each and every day, dude. You know.
I seen speaking of nuts, they convicted that one that was trying to shoot Trump on that golf course. They got his ass for everything, and then he tried to kill himself in the courtroom.
With a pen.
Yeah, with a pen. I'm like, they should have been a little slow to react.
Exactly. Dude.
If I'm the fucking cops in there, I'm like, oh yeah, we'll get to it. 1 second, fuck it, let them do it. But yeah, he grabbed an ink pen as soon as they said guilty. But the dude was I didn't know he was so like off his rocker, man. He was a nut, dude. He proposed basically that they should decide this by a golf match between him and Trump. And if he were to win, if he beats Trump, then basically he becomes president. If Trump wins, I think he said Trump gets to execute him or something stupid like that. It was
yeah,
crazy.
I mean, that tells
dude.
you right there, man.
And the judge, look, and they still didn't like say you're insane. So I mean, I'm
Right.
thinking, good God, 'cause I think he defended himself, which was his first mistake. But which I don't
yeah,
think he was getting off
absolutely.
anyway. But yeah, he was trying to defend
They should have
himself.
taken that deal, dude.
I think Trump would have. Trump's pretty
I
good
think
at
the
golf.
stakes would be awesome. Like,
He gets to be president. Oh yeah, so I'm like, this guy here, man. So yeah, but they found his stupid ass. I think he's facing life. So I think he's going to get every bit of it because from what I understand, the judge that's presiding over it is a Trump-appointed judge. So yeah, there's no sympathy there. Yeah. He's a liberal judge. He'd have probably walked out day one.
Yep.
yep. I'm like, do it again.
Well, they'd probably fucking chastise him for not doing the job right, Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You couldn't even get a shot off?
Not even one.
Yeah. Which he's let that bastard's lucky though, because I think if I remember correctly, the Secret Service popped shots at this asshole.
They did.
Yeah,
They
and
did.
He wound up
Saw the
taking
gun
off.
barrel sticking through the fence and started shooting at it.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I forgot all about that nut, and then next thing you know, he's guilty. And I mean, it's the other one. They did everything they could to make sure you forgot about anything with that kid. That first one that tried to take out Trump.
I know, and that's so crazy to me. Those two, like, I mean, we've been to a golf course, right? Like, imagine being out there on any hole and you see a gun barrel sticking through the fence. Like, I just don't know how you see it, especially like they saw that in the middle of all those fucking trees and shit. They saw that one AK barrel sticking through the fence, but they didn't see this kid climbing up on a building with a fucking AR-15 trying to take Trump out.
Yeah, from like 30 yards away, you know.
Yeah, had no clue he was getting up there at all, but they saw this little bitty gun barrel sticking through a fucking fence.
Well, that's just more proof that it let you know that they wanted what was going to happen to Trump that day at that rally to happen.
It was all about the pitch, dude. The pitch of the roof.
The pitch of the roof, yeah. They couldn't get nobody up there. But, as far as the golf course, I think that was just a rogue act by this guy, and Secret Service was on their shit that day, you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think the one in you know, the first attempt, that shit, they allowed that shit to happen without a doubt. I mean, there's no way you get that close to the president in the position like that kid was able to get in.
Yep.
Without it being allowed, you know, there's no way. He did not outsmart all of the Secret Service, and, you know, like you said, nobody on the roof because of that bullshit excuse with the slope of it and all this nonsense. And yeah, none of that made sense. But, and I don't even think that's conspiracy. That's just what it is, you know. Anyway. All right. It's 10 o'clock. Y'all ready to wrap it up?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right. If
Do
y'all
it.
still with us, make sure you subscribe, please. We appreciate y'all checking it out.
Absolutely.
And we will be back next week, same time, same place, if they haven't canceled our channel yet. So y'all be good. Everybody have a good night. Until next week, peace out.
Straight from the swamps of southern Louisiana. Straight from the swamps.
Straight from the swamps